just to bring you
Top of the morning from beautiful downtown Baltimore.
Deepening shadows gather splendor as day is done. Fingers of night will soon surrender the setting sun. I count the moments, darling, till you're together at last at twilight time. Here in the afterglow all day, we keep our rendezvous in in that same and slow way, I fall in love again, as I did then. Deep in the dark, your kiss will thrill me like days of old. Lighting the spark of love that fills me with dreams untold. Each day I pray for meeting just to be with you together.
I'm Laura Law, Secretary for the Maryland Department of Aging, and I myself welcome you here today. On behalf of our governor, Martin O'Malley, and our Lieutenant Governor, Anthony Brown, we wish you a happy Older Americans Month in May. So it's significant that today, the second day of May, we celebrate the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards. And what an exciting time for us. Wonderful awardees today. This event annually recognizes the exemplary accomplishments, unique contributions, and outstanding service of some of the very special, most outstanding older adults, innovative groups, and indispensable national organizations based here in the state of Maryland, and I would say even nationally. Today is particularly special because there is so much to celebrate. I'm getting excited. And speaking of getting excited, where is Captain Chuck? You know, when I don't know how many of you all know this, but I'm from the country in South Carolina. And Captain Chuck, I grew up on that country in West. I felt like I was falling in love again. I was going all back to climbing and platters and saying, woo! I don't be ashamed of myself. You could imagine what was going through my mind. Naturally, of course, we are celebrating Older Americans Month, and we know that our president, the Honorable Barack Obama, has declared his theme, Unleash the Power of Age. Well, whether that was his theme or not, we have already done it. We are here in multiple numbers now. We are a clear majority. And with that, of course, the president is calling on each of us, every one of us, to plan or participate in a community event during the month of May, which we do anyway. And those events, of course, will be celebrating our seniors. Here in the great state of Maryland, the old line state, I am very proud to present our governor's proclamation for Older Maryland's Month. It's Eileen, let me see, the chair of the Commission on Aging. Stu, would you come up please so I can present this to you? The state of Maryland's proclamation from the governor of the state of Maryland, Older Maryland's Month, May 2013. Whereas during the month of May, Maryland is proud to join the nation in the observance of Older Americans Month, and whereas the people of Maryland are proud to recognize and pay tribute to older Marylanders who are deserving of our respect and admiration for the many sacrifices they have made to make Maryland a better place to live. And whereas it is the goal of this administration to provide quality programs and services that meet the needs of Maryland's current and future older adults. And whereas the Maryland Department of Aging, the Maryland Commission on Aging, the local area agencies on aging, and all others who are advocates and who work on behalf of older adults are commended for the part they play in modernizing systems of care and providing more opportunities for seniors to make informed choices about their lives. And whereas Maryland is pleased to celebrate a special month of activities and events highlighting the many contributions of older Marylanders. Now, therefore, I, Martin O'Malley, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim May 2013 as Older Marylanders Month in Maryland, and to commend this observance to all of our citizens. And it's signed by our dear Governor, Martin O'Malley, our dear Lieutenant Governor, Anthony Brown, and our Secretary of State, John McDonough. And I'm presenting this to our Chairman of the Commission on Aging for the entire state. Today's 6th Governor's Leadership and Aging Awards is our way of launching Older Marylanders Month with a powerful statement about aging well in the community. You know, the common thread among all of these recipients today is their passion for doing. Their contributions are both tangible and intangible. The gifts of these amazing honorees remind us that we must never stop living our lives with purpose and with passion. Whether we are 60 or 106 or 116, because I think that's where we're going, which I had. These award recipients have all followed their bliss, and for that we are grateful to be in their company and honored. I would like to take this occasion to not only commend our awardees, but I would like to recognize all of our nominees this year. We had a great response to the call for nominations, and the judges had a tough job making their final decisions. Truly, you are all winners, and that is true. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. Please let's not forget our sponsors. I'm going to read these sponsors, and we thank you so much for supporting us. We could not be here today in Clarksville without you. And if you are here, would you please stand as I call out your company? AARP Maryland. Yeah. Beacon Newspapers, Inc. For Baltimore Health System. Erickson School at UMBC. I'm sending my granddaughter over there with you guys this summer. It's going to matriculate. Health Facilities Association of Maryland. Leading Age, Maryland. Lightbridge Health. Insight into the determinants of exceptional aging and longevity. Study of the National Institutes of Health. And we want to get them on our website so you can do the recruitment that you need. I think that's a great project. At this time, I would like to recognize special guests who are with us today, and I've already recognized my predecessor and my friend who was in the Senate with me, and that was Jean Ross. And I just thank her for coming from Tony, Maryland today. And now has the Honorable Barbara Crush got here yet? Well, I can tell you, I left her in total confusion on the second floor in the governor's reception room during bill signing. Yeah. I never seen anything like that, that's all I can say. It's a stampede down there today. Renee Cohen, our dear friend from the United States Senate Office of Ben Martin. Ben is our friend. Our Area Agency on Aging Directors. The AAA directors, will you please stand? Those who deliver services for all across the state of Maryland. We thank you for joining us today. And then the Commission on Aging members. I know I've seen some of them today besides you, Stu. Where's Paula? Yes, very good. Thank you so much. Let me also recognize Jerome Golder. And we have something special for you today also. Would you please come forward for the awarding of your official commemorative poster from the 5th Annual Leadership and Agent Awards. This poster proudly features your creative genius. Here he is. And round on the joint. Oh, look at this. While the secretary steps over for this Kodak moment, which is very important, or maybe I should say your iPhone moment, since nobody does Kodak anymore. You're your MC for the afternoon. News director at WEAA 88.9 FM. It is the public radio station on the campus of Morgan State University. And anyone else who has a phone with a photo opportunity or video by that matter can step up and take this historic moment here. That is a gorgeous poster. Everyone give them a hand. You know, this is what we're trying to share in this moment, is the talents of who is in this room and bringing it forward. And that, Secretary Lola, was beautiful. At this time, I'd like to call forward Regina Clay, who's going to bring greetings on behalf of Howard County Executive Ken Ullman. Regina.
Hello, good afternoon. I am happy to be here today representing the Howard County Executive Ken Ullman. And actually, I feel like I'm home because I see Tammy, who I used to work with, I see Michelle, who I used to work with, and Mother, who I call her Mother, because you have to understand that Secretary Lola and I go way back to her daughter and I were in college together. So, I definitely feel like I am home, and so I'm happy to represent the county executive and welcome you to Howard County. And we're so glad you chose our county to have this leadership award. And I'm excited about it too, because I'm just going to tell you one little fact, and you probably won't believe it, but it's true. And Secretary Lola can attest to that. But this is my Jubilee year, and I will be turning 50 in November. So AARP, I guess they're coming for me in a minute. So I am happy to be here. And when I read the award recipients, I was like, wow, people doing things in their older years that I enjoy doing. I just started running. I love to dance. And I just love to have a good time, and I'm always concerned about our older citizens, you know, that are here in the county as well as the state and the nation. And I also, just so I'm happy that you're here, just want to say one little thing. The Columbia Association has a board for older adults, and they're working on the comprehensive plan. So we're inviting you all to come back to Howard County on May 29th from 4:30 to 8. There'll be an open house. And Paul Brzezinski, if you raise your hand, you can see Paul for more information. And you can get some ideas and give us some of your ideas as to how we can serve our older citizens and persons and friends in a better manner. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And now we'd like to invite up Dana Brown, Administrator of the Howard County Area Agency on Aging, to bring us greetings right now. Dana?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dana Brown, the Administrator for the Office on Aging, and as Regina said, I also want to welcome you here to Howard County. And I've actually gotten Regina beat by a year. I turned 51 this year, and AARP has been hounding me ever since I turned 50. Thank you all for being here. This is a wonderful event. This is I think my first time at this event. I've been at the office for a year and a half now. And as absolutely love it here in Howard County and love everything that the Aging Network has to bring in this state and everything that our older adults across the state have to bring. And I have a feeling that we are going to be in for a real treat this afternoon with the performances and with the awardees. So I want to send my congratulations to all of you, and thank you all again for being here. Thank you.
When I was asked to be with you this afternoon, I got really excited because, to tell you the truth, I said I can hang out with some people who know the music I know, who know the news that I know, have been through the experiences that I experienced, and there's still more to learn and do. And I would like to make the opportunity an invitation to you for new headlines, okay? Because you're in it. You're still in it, okay? And that's the kind of thing that I want to be reporting on. Speaking of reporting, I thought I'd bring you up to date with what's going on right now. Weather-wise, sunny, high, 70 degrees. There is a slight chance of a dip in the temperature this evening under clear skies, 40 degrees. But we will get right back up into a warming trend, but it will be partly sunny going into the weekend with highs of about 60 degrees. Right now, no. T-minus in 2 hours, they're going to be closing off Washington Square, okay? Mount Vernon for the Flower Mart. So I just wanted to give you that heads up in case you wanted to get your parking space early. Anyway, these are important things that you need to know. Other things you need to know, it appears that control towers at several small airports in Maryland are safe from being shut down. That's because the federal government decided that it could not continue with those furloughs of air traffic controllers. So they also have provided $30 million to keep smaller air towers open across the country. Just thought we'd keep you on top of breaking news. Oh, and just in case you wanted to get into some of the, cultural news that's going on, The Great Gatsby. How many here intend to see that film? Okay, I want to hear your criticism. Fashion, how authentic these things are. I mean, they spent a lot of money. They might as well have gotten it right. Did they ask you? They're going to hear from you through me. And, and also if we go to entertainment news, oh my goodness, did you think she'd go there? I'm talking about Martha Stewart. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? She's on Match.com. Have you checked out that profile? Let me tell you something. We have got so much news. Everybody better catch up to where we're at, right? They better catch up to where we're at because we've got a lot going on and a lot to do. And let me just say that the workers are placing the final section of the spire atop the One World Trade Center today in Lower Manhattan. They tried before it got a little rain, but they should have that completed. Now that I brought you up to date on news, yes, the Orioles did lose one, but it was part of a 3-game series. They're going to be playing again in Los Angeles tonight at 10. And that is the latest this hour. Moving on. This is really exciting because these are the kind of headlines that I would love to be introducing. That of a lifetime achievement, of a trailblazer, of performing arts, of health and vitality, the visual arts. These are the things that keep us rich as a people, keep us rich as a community. And this is one of the ways I think that this can be done is to actually petition your stations to bring you that kind of information and news and stay on top of them. Don't let them slip away with a mere, 30-second or 2-second, announcement. Keep your pens handy because I'm going to give you some ways in which that you can move into the category of active participant in what you see and hear on the airwaves. Now, we're going to begin right now, and after hearing from Secretary Lala, it's so exciting to hear her excitement in looking at the people that we're going to be honoring this afternoon. First of all, we're moving into the award area Quicksilver Performing Arts category. Now, Quicksilver is a dance improvisation company comprised of adults aged 60 and older. Now, this group shapes its interactions with frail senior participants, helping them to find their own expressive responses through improvisational dance. They don't simply perform for older adults, rather they use their art form to begin a dialogue. They elicit movement and smiles from program participants who are otherwise isolated from their community, and because of their physical and cognitive limitations. The fact that Quicksilver members are close in age to their program participants promotes the good feeling of coming together, and what an understanding spreads through the group. In addition to the emotional benefits, dance helps seniors improve balance, flexibility, and while staving off dementia. Please come forward to be recognized. Quicksilver, performance by Quicksilver will follow our acceptance of the first award. This, let me just read, is from U.S. Senator Ben Cardin, a certificate of special recognition that is presented to Quicksilver with appreciation for your service, for your achievement, the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards Performing Arts Award. Have you stepped this way?
We wanted to thank you very much. We're very proud of our group, and I'm Nancy Havlick, and my co-director is Anthony Hyatt, and we're supported by Arts for the Aging. It's the organization that makes it possible for us to do our work. We're going to perform for you today with a group that ranges in age from 60 to 94. And we're especially proud because our 94-year-old can do the splits and a headstand. Not today, but she can.
And one other note, just to say that Arts for the Aging is celebrating its 25th anniversary today, or this year, founded by Lolo Sarnoff. It's an organization that has reached thousands of seniors throughout suburban Maryland and in the Washington, D.C. area, and really brought the vision of creative engagement programming for our older adults to the forefront. So we just are so thankful to Arts for the Aging for sponsoring Quicksilver, who you will now see and meet.
program. Next up, you talk about endurance. This category is health and vitality. At age 86, he has entered 42 marathons, including ones in New York, Boston, Hawaii, and London. A resident of Oak Crest community in Parkville, Maryland, he has achieved an amazing milestone, logging his 50,000th mile. 50,000th mile.
Wow.
Yes, that was during a victory lap ceremony in April 2010. He continues to compete in the half marathon race at each year's Baltimore Running Festival. That's in October. Take a note. And staying active and involved has always been a major influence in his life. He's played half a season with the men's basketball team of the University of Maryland. And in 1943, before being called to service in the U.S. Navy during World War II. His current 5-day-week regimen includes running on a track, a treadmill, biking, and walking. Please put your hands together right now for Robert Grady. From U.S. Senator Benjamin Cardin, certificate of special recognition presented to Robert Grady. With appreciation for your service and achievement, 6th Annual Governor's Leadership and Aging Awards Health and Vitality Award. It is signed May 2nd, 2013 by Benjamin L. Cardin, United States Senator, Maryland.
First, I want to say how much I appreciate this award. It's very, very much appreciated, believe me. I think one does not go through life without some assistance, support along the way. And certainly I've been very fortunate in that respect. I have a very loving family who are all interested in exercise and recognize the importance of it. My dear wife of 64 years, Betty here, goes with me to the gym at Oak Crest. My son bikes with me on Saturday. My other son runs marathons and half marathons with me. And my daughter is also into exercise as well. So you can see I do have the support. And I also appreciate the fact that in Oak Crest, where we live, we have a very excellent health club where if the weather is inclement, I certainly can make use of that. It's a wonderful place to be. So I thank you again very much for this award, and I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
Robert, I think we want to thank you for being such an outstanding example of how activity can really bring vitality to your life. Mm-hmm. Let's give it to him. I mean, he's great from ear to ear. Can he be happier? That's the way I like to be. Our next category is the visual arts category. And this award goes to Joseph Berg. For 15 years, Joe Berg has been a stained glass instructor for seniors in Baltimore County Senior Centers. He's been sharing his talent with others and helping to spread his love for art with those who wish to develop their creative side. Now, Joe doesn't enter many competitions due to his humble nature, but recently at the Maryland State Fair, he placed both first and second with a couple of his stained glass creations. He has generously given many gifts of his artwork to local churches and has served as an instructor at the Creative Alliance in Highlandtown, Maryland, a city neighborhood near his home. And I just want to invite you to take a look at the exhibit that is to my right against the wall. The ship there is beautiful, and from what I am hearing, that too may be immortalized in a future publication. Mr. Berg, please come forward and be recognized. From U.S. Senator Benjamin L. Cardin, certificate of special recognition that's presented to Joseph Berg with appreciation for your service and achievement at the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership and Aging Awards Visual Arts Award, signed on this date, May 2nd, 2013, Benjamin L. Carter, United States Senator, Maryland.
I want to thank everybody for this honor. Thank you especially Nicole, who could not be here today. She's the senior, the director of Catonsville Senior Center, who put my name in for this. Thank you.
Thank you also to Joseph Burke for sharing his artistic spirit. And you know, you can almost feel the wind on the water, can't you? Just looking at that, full sails. Oh my goodness, what a symbol of our state and a great love that he has for our community. And thank you very much for your spirit in sharing that. Next up, in the performing arts category, I introduce you to Sterling Dorn. Sterling Dorn has spread joy to many seniors throughout Maryland's Senior Idol competition, mesmerizing the audience and the judges, taking home the crown. Recently, Sterling and 3 others entertained audiences at a number of charity events and senior centers, and at 70 years of age, this longtime resident of Maryland is known for entertaining military and civilian personnel at various assignments all around the world. He's a global talent. And we now ask you to accept this award from U.S. Senator Benjamin Carter's Certificate of Special Recognition to Sterling Dorn with appreciation for your service and achievement at the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards Performing Arts Award, May 2nd, 2013, Benjamin L. Carter, United States Senator, Maryland.
You know, it's funny how I'm making getting old a lot of fun. You know, I've always said there's nothing wrong with getting old as long as you don't have to get young. But I just wanted, I'm truly honored to represent P.T. County. But my story is probably a little bit different because after I retired from the federal government, I decided to play golf 4 or 5 days a week. And I've always sang all my life. And my wife, 49 years, brought me this fire 3 years ago. And said, Sterling, I think you're going to get into this senior idol. And I did. And to my surprise, after winning it, I met someone who's the special programs director, coordinator at the Parks and Planning, John Marinelli, who saw this gift in me. And she wanted me to go and sing a few senior centers. And little did I know that I had discovered a new career because I started singing songs that people had heard back from the 30s, 40s, 50s. And to be able to see seniors, memories refreshed. You know, memories are a blessing. And sometimes when you sing those songs by some of the great artists, it just stirs up something in them. And I saw that I had a gift to bring talent. This talent I had, that I had a gift to bring some joy to people. So it is now my ministry to entertain as many people. As long as I got 2 people in the mic, I'm good to go. But again, I want to thank you, Darlene, and I want to thank Kathy, and I want to thank my director of playing jazz combo. He saw me sing at one of the singers, Jim Haitian, and said, "Get out what you heard." And for the last 7 months, we formed this jazz combo, and we've been on a lot of work, and mainly all volunteer work, because I think when you give, you always get. Okay, so I'm kind of a song one, okay?
I'm no good without you.
So I got to take on ooh, yeah, your goodbye. Tell me with eyes to cry.
category for an individual. And I'm inviting up Michelle Douglas, who has been an advocate on policy issues affecting older adults. For almost 3 decades, she's been working so hard on various roles in the public and private sectors. Michelle has not only been a strong voice for smart and effective programs and policies, she has educated people to be successful advocates themselves. This sounds like a self-esteem test I need. Among her policy accomplishments, Michelle has been instrumental in positively changing the state policy regarding the level of care, medical eligibility criteria for Maryland's long-term care program, protecting funding for the state's respite care program for older adults waiver, the waiver program that is, and establishing a Blue Ribbon Commission on Alzheimer's disease. Ms. Douglas, thank you so much for all that you have done. And that thank you also comes from U.S. Senator Benjamin L. Cardin's Certificate of Special Recognition presented to Michelle Douglas with appreciation for your service and achievement at the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards, the Trailblazer Award on this May 2nd, 2013, signed by Benjamin L. Cardin, United States Senator, Maryland. Trailblazer means that she's the originator. She knows from the beginning.
Well, I'm starting to get enough gray hair to think I might. So I am really honored and truly humbled by receiving this award. It was really a surprise. The work I do in Annapolis on behalf of Maryland seniors is something that's more than a job to me. It's really a passion. And I operate from the essence of we each bring value, and as we age, our value continues, and we need to ensure that the services and supports that we bring to individuals reflect that, maintain our integrity, make sure that we respect and honor the individual, meet them at the place that they are, wherever their abilities are, and that we make sure that they remain as independent and vital as possible, and that we honor their wishes in the way they want to live their lives. And so that's what I strive to do through the policies that we work to shape here in Maryland. And that's really the guiding light for me and for many of the people I work with. And I see many people around this room who are really important in this work. And it was interesting, the first thing that popped into my head when I learned about this amazing award was thinking about the word trailblazer. And I thought the first thing that popped into my head was, you can't be a trailblazer unless other people are joining you. Otherwise, you're taking a walk, which I love, but it's not blazing a trail. And so on behalf of all of the people who I work with, day in and day out, year in and year out, to make better policies for our seniors here in Maryland, I really thank you. And I'd also like to recognize my wife Laura, who stands by me in all of this work, my partners Ann and Robin, who make it possible for me to continue to do the work I feel so passionately about and understand my need to do more than what people think I'm going to be doing. But there are so many people here in this room who have done so much, including the Department of Aging, our local area agencies on aging, Kim Burton, all of the partners here. So thank you very, very much.
Our next awardee, this is for another Trailblazer category, an individual. Louise Gulias has been an advocate for older adults since joining the Worcester County Commission back in 1998, serving as its president and vice president. She also served on the board of directors for MAC Incorporated in Salisbury and the Worcester County Commission on Aging from 2003 to 2007. Louise has also served on the Aging Services Advisory Council from 2001 to 2003, and since 2010, she is serving once again as a member of the Board of Directors for the Commission on Aging. Louise is a familiar face at senior centers on the Eastern Shore, especially in Ocean City. And in January of 2013, Commissioner Gulius formally announced that she will not run again at the end of her term, but here's the real headline: she's not retiring. Her goal is to become a lobbyist in Annapolis, dealing with education and senior issues. Yes, this is for Louise Gulius. From U.S. Senator Ben Cardin, certificate of special recognition presented to Louise Gulius in appreciation for your service and achievement. The 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards Trailblazer Award on this May 2nd, 2013 from Benjamin L. Cardin, United States Senator, Maryland.
Okay, I really don't know why I'm here. I have no talent. I don't paint. I don't cut glass. I definitely do not sing or dance. People would run screaming if I sang. But I do love seniors, and I do love children. And all I can tell you is, if you need anything, call me. I'll find a way to get it for you. All right. Because I will torment the hell out of everybody. And I say that with much love in my heart. I truly do. And when, I must thank Rob Hart and Debbie Ritter and Lloyd Parks for putting my name up. I had no idea. My seniors in Worcester County are wonderful, wonderful people, as they are across the state of Maryland. And I just feel so honored and so privileged to be here today. It really means a lot to me. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm really coming to the conclusion that, there are a whole lot of, even though this Iron Man movie is coming out this weekend, that really, the little superheroes are right here. Throw an S on your chest, cape on the back, you're ready to go. They'll do anything, right? Am I right? Can I get an amen? Amen. All right. In our Trailblazer category, we would like to recognize Senior Service America for the Organizational Award. Senior Service America, Inc. is a national nonprofit organization headquartered in Silver Spring. It has led advocacy efforts and operated innovative training programs for low-income older Marylanders since 1972. SSAI is committed to making it possible for low-income and other disadvantaged older adults to participate fully in determining their own future and the future of their communities. This is important. I'm just going to take a little pause here because as a reporter, I have gone to some of the public meetings for discussion, the coffee talks, about how communities are changing. The development that's going on seems to forget who lived there in the first place. Pause over. The company traces its roots to the National Council of Senior Citizens, launched in 1961 to advocate for older Americans. And for more than 40 years, they have operated the Federal Senior Community Service Employment Program. That's SCSEP. It's the largest program through a network of local sub-grantee organizations. And recently, SSAI launched its Digital Inclusion Initiative to provide basic internet training. More than 550 senior community service employment program participants in 16 states worked as peer coaches, providing one-on-one tutoring to older adults in 345 sites, including senior centers and libraries. The executive director will accept this award on behalf of Senior Service America Incorporated. Please come forward to be recognized, Mr. Tony Sarmiento. Benjamin Cardin, a certificate of special recognition presented to Senior Services America, Inc. with appreciation for your service and achievement at the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership in Aging Awards Trailblazer Award on this May 2nd, 2013, signed by Benjamin L. Carter, United States Senator, Maryland.
So doesn't Beverly have a great radio voice?
Yes.
I want to say first thank you to the Governor and the Maryland Department of Aging. As Gloria and others know who run an organization, it's sometimes awkward to be here representing an organization. There's so many people who this award really represents their hard work. So, first of all, we're so pleased to be given this great honor and recognition. A number of our staff from our headquarters in Silver Spring are here, and I'd like to ask them to stand. I think they've taken over like 2 or 3 tables in the back. And of course, you know, the way we do our work here in Maryland, the way we have always done it, is by partnering with local organizations in the state of Maryland. And I'm really happy that they're able to join us as well. First with the Prince George's County Department of Family Services, Teresa, thank you. Stan Levy with the Family and Children's Services, Central Maryland. Thanks, Stan. From Catholic Charities of Baltimore, Sandy Ferguson. Senator Wayne Williams from the Baltimore County Department of Aging. How many years have we been? 30th anniversary. Still getting to know way around. And I think Anne Arundel, Workforce Development Corporation, my friend Lisa Stroman is here. Okay, he's probably doing real work. Anyways, we would not be able to do the work we do if it weren't for our partners. And in many ways, what they do is mobilize the disadvantaged, low-income older people in this program called Senior Community Service Employment Program. And what you see, what's so wonderful about today's event is we've seen how, in many ways, older people have many gifts that they are willing to share with us, whether it's in the arts or in advocacy. And in the Senior Community Service Employment Program, this is what we do with our partners. We make it possible for older people, regardless of their income or education, who want to give back to their community, to actually be given that opportunity. So as Beverly mentioned, one of the things that we have done is bring a number of older people who have never used the internet to start using the internet for the first time. So let me ask just a quick poll. Who in this room uses the internet on a regular basis? Can you raise your hand? Now, I'm not going to ask those that didn't raise their hand, but we know that there are 24 million people 60 and over in the United States today who don't use the internet. And it just seems to me it's like not having a phone or not being able to access the library. There's so many things that people can gain by being online. It helps keep them engaged, it helps keep them healthy. So that's one of our ongoing efforts. So thank you for this award, but also know that we're going to continue doing our work because there are still too many older adults, older Marylanders who don't recognize that what they could gain by going online. Let me finally say one quick thing. Well, as far as when I was watching Quicksilver, their approach to having older adults help other older adults to start to perform and use movement as a way of staying engaged. That is what we have done through our digital inclusion initiative, using asking older adults to bring on a friend up here. Finally, I have to thank my friend Gloria Lowell, because she helps this be a state where we all want to grow old. I told her I was going to say this. I know that you're already starting to work on your next Innovations in Aging conference, and you know you can count on Senior Service America to join you in having that, again, second time where you bring together Maryland, DC, and Virginia to work together and let older people in the region know about what's available to them. And finally, I just want to brag a little more about my friend Gloria. Gloria, you'll be president of the National Association of States United for Aging and Disabilities this fall. So if you see her less, she's now engaged at the national level, as you always have. Thank you again.
I love you when we have breaking news like that. That's great. Secretary. You know, it's wonderful when you have an opportunity, and you're going to be hearing from the Secretary in just a moment after I make this next introduction. And I just want to say, Secretary, you have my email address and my BlackBerry. It's always on my hip. That's why it's so warm. And I want that breaking news, okay? Exclusive. Next, I'd like to introduce you to the President and CEO of Helen Bentley and Associates Incorporated, which provides marketing, consulting, and government relations services, and also serves as consultant to the Maryland Port Administration. Let me take you back. 1945 until 1969, she was a reporter and then maritime editor for the Baltimore Sun, where her coverage made her an opinion leader on international maritime issues. Now, in 1950, she also moved into television for 15 years as she turned out weekly 30-minute segments. Bentley produced, directed, edited, wrote, and did interviews for her series, The Port That Built a City. And later, The Port That Built a City and State. Throughout her career, Bentley has tirelessly promoted three primary issues: the advancement of America's maritime community, America's industrial manufacturing base, and her beloved Port of Baltimore. I show it off every time I have folks come visiting me. When President Richard Nixon appointed her as chair of the Federal Maritime Commission from 1969 to 1975, she was then the fourth highest ranking woman in federal government history. In 1985, she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, representing Maryland's 2nd Congressional District, where she served until 1995. Born in Ruth, Nevada, Bentley graduated from the University of Missouri in 1944 and has been awarded 10 honorary doctorates. She has received numerous national and international honors, including the Admiral of the Ocean Sea, AOTOS, award in 1981, the Governor's International Leadership Award in 2006, International Maritime Hall of Fame 2004, the Jerry Land Medal of the Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers in 1974, and the U.S. Navy League's Robert Thompson Award in 1973, the United Kingdom's Chamber of Shipping in 1973, and the U.S. Propeller Club's Congressional in 1987, and its Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008. She also received Industrialist of the Year from the Baltimore Museum of Industry 2010. Bentley has christened 17 American flag ships, 5 of which she named simultaneously at the Sparrows Point Shipyard in 1987. I am pleased to introduce to you right now and recognize Helen Dillage Bentley. Bentley, with appreciation for your service and achievement at the 6th Annual Governor's Leadership and Aging Awards Lifetime Achievement Award on this May 2nd, 2013, signed by Benjamin L. Cardin, United States Senator, Maryland.
I knew I was too short. I just stand on the floor. And I looked around this room. What can I stand on? And then I saw this two-step stool back here. And I asked my friend sitting next to me, our great marathon runner. And I said, would you sneak that stool over for me? I can see it, stand on it. And he did, and then I think I need to stand on the second step up, because the first step up may be not a little, solid. So I didn't want to fall, especially in my 90th year. All right. Let me say this. I have enjoyed today. I have enjoyed it a great deal. I love the dance troupe. God, you ladies. And that violinist. Terrific. I can almost see him in, there was a play on Broadway where the violins, what was the name of it? Yeah. Anyhow, he should be there doing that. He is so good. And you ladies, my hat is off to you. You were great. And our 42 marathon runner, he lives only about 3 miles from me. It's the first time I've met him. So I'm really happy.
I'll run over to meet you sometime.
And who, Sterling, we could stay here all day and we could do And I do want to say, all of you are policymakers, all of you who work so hard to make it more comfortable for the older Americans. And it does take a lot. And I'm pleased to see a number of younger faces in this room. There are a number. And it takes them to help us get along. But they're going to be where we are someday. And they know that, and they're going to be prepared. It's a great day. I've really enjoyed it. I don't know when the hell my notes are. I'm sure I'm going to use them that way. I want to say I am very proud to be awarded the Governor's Leadership Award for Older Americans. I really am, because I know what it has taken and does take to make it easier for older Americans. I want to quote something I happened to be reading yesterday. And it was from the Liberty Log. And the Liberty Log is a publication about Liberty ships. In World War II, it was the Liberty ships that saved the Allies. And in Baltimore Harbor, in the 4 years of World War II, there were 607 ships built in 4 years. Unfortunately, we could never do it again because we don't have a manufacturing base. But we did it then. And there was an article in there by my friend Ernie Imhoff. And Ernie said, he discusses the lives of 12 of the mates who had been working on the Liberty ship, John Brown, which is still in Baltimore Harbor, and all of them had passed away last year. And he said, this is a sea story, but it is not about the sea. It is about being near the end of one's life, becoming connected to strangers, gaining new friends, and being useful again. Ernie said, it concerns a dozen people in their 80s and 90s. Most of them were World War II veterans who have died in the past year. Their deaths were not unusual at a time when the war's warriors are dying daily. But what they did in their final years bears considering. Before they met a few years ago, these folks had things in common. Little. They had retired, and they were at loose ends. Most were unconnected to a social group, and perhaps lonely. Old comrades were gone. Some had no families left. Some feared sitting and expiring in front of the television set. They were strangers to each other and lived mostly in Maryland, except for 3 who came from Wilmington, Delaware, and Philadelphia. The good news is that things got better for them unexpectedly. What changed their lives so much? First, they were almost all old seamen. There was a lady among that group of 12, I want to tell you. Second, they found an old ship. Not any ship, but a tired, rusted Liberty ship that had sailed in their war. The mariners once knew these rough and ready, uncomfortable freighters. Surely they never dreamed they'd be seen, much less working again, on such an ugly duckling, which is how the Liberty ship was described. Of the 2,710 launched during World War II in the United States of America, only the John Brown in Baltimore and another in San Francisco survived to sail today. But here was a chance, and they grabbed it. And they learned it was not too late for new friendships and becoming useful with their old skills of carpentry, plumbing, electricity, and of course seamanship, such as running a steam winch on deck and tending a boiler below. The ship, as I said, they found was the John Brown, hanging out at Pier 1 in the dirty industrial part of Canton in East Baltimore Harbor, sitting opposite the East Coast's biggest mountains of highway salt, far from the glitzy inner harbor of tourist pavilions and sailboats. Day after day, one by one, the men and women climbed the 40 steps to the deck of the Baltimore Liberty ship, launched in 1942 in Fairfield, just across the harbor in Baltimore. This operating historical museum ship reminded them of the old days of their youth. They were back to their early home at sea. The key for these elderly and all seniors is being connected. And that's what Ernie wrote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is true. I must insert that indirectly, I played an important role in helping these old-timers communicate and work with each other. While a member of Congress, it was uncertain that any of the remaining 3 World War II ships could continue to survive. The John Brown in Baltimore, the Jeremiah O'Brien in San Francisco, and the Lane Victory in Los Angeles. They desperately needed funding. I took the lead on the House of Representatives with Senator Barbara Mikulski on the Senate side. We managed to squeeze through $750,000 for each ship. Senator Grassley from Iowa wanted to kill the money. It took a lot of running back and forth between the House and the Senate. This was before the days of email and all of that stuff. It was leg power. And Barbara and I got it through. And you know that ever since we provided that foundation for these vessels, volunteers have struggled to raise funds and keep up with the maintenance, and they have. Yes, indeed, it is about staying connected. I will be 90 years old in November, God willing, and I look forward to it. Outside of some aches and creaky bones, I still want to go out and battle the world. I have remained connected to the Port of Baltimore and all of those with it. But before I talk about the port, I got to tell you something about her, Gloria Law, what she did to me last year. The women legislators had scheduled a luncheon as their annual fundraiser. They wanted a Republican speaker and a Democrat speaker. So for the Democrat, they chose a svelte, tall, attractive, young thing to present the Democrat side. And then, for a Republican, they chose an old, salty, labor-intensive, loud, slightly bent, pudgy, creaky old gal, me. Well, I can tell you that some of those adjectives are from the reference that Governor Bob Early gave when he named the port after me. So I played along with those legislators and decided that it was time for all of the audience and the young Democrat to know firsthand how really tough it was for women 2-3 generations ago, and how much groundwork we laid to make their entrances and promotions possible. It's still not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better. Go right ahead. Now, if I talk too much, it's her fault. But let me tell you. Oh, I don't know what I'm telling you. I'm not going to. She's going to be my alter ego as an MC. You know why? She can talk and blurt out as phony as I can. But we both speak the truth and the facts. And I gotta say, while I'm talking about Gloria, and she did introduce her predecessor, which I was very glad Jean was here. And she and I are probably the only Republicans in the room. Oh my God, hey! Anyhow, you know, I think it's good to have a two-party system. Okay. When I came to Baltimore back in 1945, I graduated from the University of Missouri, where I worked at jobs to go to college, one for 10 cents an hour in a drugstore, and then for 30 cents an hour in a dining hall. And let me tell you, when I came to Baltimore by accident. The Baltimore Sun offered me $5 a week more than anybody else, and they were going to pay my freight, the train fare from the West Coast. So I came. And my first day at the Baltimore Sun almost became my last day. The day city editor told me to go out and cover, it was Flag Day 1945, to go out and cover the Flag Day ceremony and come back and write a half a column. Okay. So I went out, covered the Flag Day, and came back, started to write on the old-fashioned typewriter. Sent sense to come out and talk to the city editor when you come back from an assignment? I mean, I was 21. I'd never been in a big city room before. And I get this. Well, Phil Parr, who was then night editor, hadn't been leaving to go cover the war overseas. I'd have been gone. Because he was. Now, anyhow, it was good training, good opening the door. And I've been just as nasty ever since. All I cared about was being a journalist, and that's what I wanted. When I had written to the East Coast papers, I said, I want covered. I'll do anything, but I don't want to be on a woman's page or doing society. And that's, again, why the Sun picked me up and I came. Anyhow, I'm cutting this down, and you'll be happy. But the first time I saw a ship was when the ships from World War II came into the port in October of '45. And that was a thrill. And then I kind of started to go down towards the port. Things were open then, you didn't have to have all the security and everything. And I loved it. And then I was put on the labor beat. That lasted about the length of one shipyard strike. And I felt so sorry for the men on strike. And I was mad at Bethlehem Steel. And I came back to City Desk and I said, take me off of labor. So they said, all right, go down the port and do that. We haven't had anybody there since World War II. So I never left. I'm still there. Been a hell of a ride, but I love it. Let me tell you about the Port of Baltimore. We are so lucky in Maryland that we have such a marvelous port. And I hope we can keep it up. Our biggest problem, disadvantage, is 150 miles of Chesapeake Bay. But so far we've been able to ride that. We have to keep the channel dredged. I ran for Congress for the exact purpose of deepening the channel to 50 feet. I didn't know the Panama Canal was going to be deeper, etc., but I figured ships were getting bigger and Baltimore has to happen. My predecessor was not interested in deepening the channel. He was afraid. There were some people in one of my favorite areas of the county, in Dundalk and Essex, who kept saying, we can't have Hart Miller, we can't fill these up. I said, well, somebody's got to take him on. So I took him on. And it took me 3 times running against him before I finally won. And thank God, and I would say, for the 50-foot channel, thank God I won. Because we were able to push that through in 1985. The only 2 ports on the East Coast that allowed for it. I gotta say this. For a long time, the Secretary of Transportation of Virginia was going around touting that Norfolk was the only one that had the 50 feet. And I happened to catch him a few times.
Wow. I'm sure you got him.
I snoop around going to Washington club meetings in Washington, and I always got up to challenge him publicly. So finally he admits that there are 2 ports on the East Coast. Now even New York doesn't have it yet. They got other problems. And I hope they keep them. But when you stop and think of the many jobs that the port has provided and the many manufacturing companies Today, when the economy was struggling back in 2008, 2009, 2010, our port was the first one to come back almost to normal. We came back the fastest of any other port in the country. And that was, and part of that, I gotta say this, and Gloria's been there. Our administrations in Annapolis, both the early and the O'Malley, have been port supportive, and they have said, okay, what do we need to do next? And we'll do it. And the General Assembly has always been there, all of them. We do a good job lobbying, and I help. But anyhow, I gotta say this. While I was at the Sun Paper, and the Sun Paper at that time was one of the 10 top papers in the United States. Not because of me, it was just a good paper. And my managing editor authorized me to go and do what I wanted to do to help the port. It was always, we want to keep the Port of Baltimore up front. We don't want to lose anything. And you go and do it. And if I don't like what you're doing, I'll let you know. But with that authorization, it opened the door for me to compare Baltimore to other ports and to show why we needed to do things and why ultimately the Port of Baltimore has become one of the state of Maryland's most, economic engine, one of the best economic engines in the state. And when I did a TV show on the port for 15 years, as Beverly said, and you know, I could have continued doing that forever. It was so interesting. It was interesting because those were the early days of television, but I learned so much about economics and what kept the world going. And you know what? I love you guys, and I could go on and on, but I'm going to quit. Let me say this to the young women. I had to fight hard to become chairman of the Federal Maritime Commission, because in those days, a woman can't handle that job. A woman cannot do that. And that's what I got about 3 or 4 times. And I finally said, to hell with it, I'm not going to give up. And when it came, and I have to tell you also 2 other things that are on my mind. President Nixon, who appointed me finally as chairman of the Federal Maritime Commission, President Nixon did open the glass door, did help break the glass ceiling for women, number 1. And he also was the one who instituted minority business, for minority businesses to get breaks, and that you had to have so much minority business. Those are 2 facts that all of these men who are so encumbered with China and where, they forget. But those are 2 domestic provisions that I saw happen. And thank God they did happen. I'm rambling. I'm going to quit. But you know what? Let's say this. Thank God we're in the United States of America.
There's only one Helen Bentley. And we are just so blessed to live during the time of a Helen Bentley. That's the way I feel. I can listen to her day and night, just 24/7. And let me just say to you that Helen Bentley has gotten so many awards this year. The last one I spoke for her was to be admitted to the Maryland Hall of Fame, Women's Hall of Fame. And she's got the top Senate award given by the President of the Senate. So, and many more to come. So we are truly blessed to have had her as a Marylander, a person who is a is the birthday place for the state of Maryland, for the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland. And we thank her. Hallelujah, we're so grateful. We're so grateful for everything that you've done.
Thank you so much.
You know, Helen, I never told you that Mike Miller appointed me as head of the Transportation Subcommittee in Budget and Taxation. And I went over to South Africa, to Durban, with the boys to negotiate a contract on bringing more aluminum up in the tonnage. You know, we never think about this, but we are competitive. And what she's done, she's helped the Port of Baltimore to eclipse a lot of our competition. And so that's why Maryland remains one of the wealth-based states, one of the top wealth-based states in the United States. It's because of people like Helen Miller. It doesn't just fall out of man out of heaven. That's not the way it works. It's because of the hard work, the skill, the intellect, the interest, and the commitment and leadership of a person like Helen Miller. Helen, my friend, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us.
If I could just add a personal note for women in journalism, I want to thank you very much for being there and running interference, taking on the hard lines, and taking up those beats that were not typically put there for only men to take. And that really did make a difference. I want to thank you very much for that. And there's another headline that I'd like to also throw out. Minority and women businesses will get 29% an increase in the businesses that will come from state contracts. And that was just announced this week. So spread the word. You know, there are many talents in this room that I know could feed new industries, feed new businesses, and go out there and get it. More than any other time, there are opportunities. And if you've had the idea, there's so much expertise in this room. You've made the network connections to those people who have important ways in which to advocate for you and to actually help you to embrace the communities that look forward to your business. This is the time to do that. And on that note, I just want to thank you so much for coming together and having this most incredible awards program. It is a treasure of us as a people and as a society who understands the value of each and every individual. And again, I want to turn over the podium to your secretary, Lauren Lawler, who has done so much to make sure that this information, this admiration, this acknowledgement stays front and center. Lauren.
Thank you, Bella. Come here. We love you. Thank you for helping us out again. You are truly a friend of the Maryland Department of Aging. Here's a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much.
This brings us to the end of another successful honoring of our seniors in the state of Maryland. I'm inspired every time I come to one of these. And I don't know if I'm going to get out and run a marathon or anything like that, but you know, I used to be pretty. I was a center on my girls' basketball team, okay? Now, I was tall during those days. I realized that 6'2", 6'3" today. But, you know, at 5'8", that was pretty hefty back in the 40s and 50s. So I might get back out there and try to shoot a couple of baskets, you know. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today and sharing in this momentous occasion for the state of Maryland and to honor our seniors. Gosh, these trailblazers, what can we say? I'd like to recognize the staff of the Maryland Department of Aging. If you're staying quickly, let's give them a big hand. Let's put this all together. I mean, most of all, our deputy and the fine staff that put all of this together this evening today. We thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you again, and this concludes our program. God bless.
The ordinary is even more than any other that is all that I give to you. Love is more than just a dream for two. Two enough can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Oh, I said love was made for me and you. Oh, love was made for me and you. Thank you.